Welcome back. Sorry for some technical difficulty. I hope it's coming through here. I had some microphone issues. Um, sorry about this. I'm just trying to check with my team to see if it's coming through. Okay, sorry about that. Now we should have picture, hopefully. Um, we should have picture now, hopefully. Let me just triple check here. Sorry about the delays. We will get everything going as quickly as we can. Looks like we are having pictures, so that's great. Yay! We have picture and we have sound, so I can keep going on to my presentation. So what I was starting to say is that one of the things that I like to look at as in a weather situation like this when we do a weather briefing is to talk about how the overall pattern is developing and why we're going to see this, the weather that we have today. And one of the maps that I'm showing right now is the surface analysis, which is the current one that is available from the U.S. government, and it's showing a very unique pattern that we're seeing across the U.S. We have a low pressure system over the Ohio Valley in eastern Indiana, as well as a low pressure system also throughout the south with a cold front that has already almost swept through Florida as well. You can see that over there. And this complex pattern is what's going to bring all the heavy rain and severe thunderstorm potential throughout the U.S., especially the eastern U.S. and the southeast, and that's why we have this live broadcast going on today. Another map that us meteorologists like to look at, especially in a situation like this, is the upper level patterns that are going on, the upper level patterns across the eastern U.S. And so that's what my next tab is showing, is the upper level maps. These maps are taken from weather balloons that are launched at 12 UTC, which is 7 a.m. Eastern time. These are launched throughout the U.S. And around the world, and we are given different levels of the atmosphere, given different slices of the atmosphere. And one of the lower levels that we use is the 850 millibar heights. This just tells us how where the low pressure, where the areas of thickness where the 850 level is compared to the ground. And it also gives us a good idea of like where the winds are coming from and also where the humidity is coming from. And from this map, I'm just going to zoom out just a little bit here. Excuse me, zoom in. And we can see the greens here are the actual humidity levels. And we can see with the really dark greens that we're almost at 100% humidity throughout this whole area with a broad upper level low developing over the Mississippi Valley. The other thing that we also see here is the strong winds that are bringing, that is wrapping around the trough here in the Gulf Coast and moving towards the northeast. This is bringing in a large amount of humid air from the Gulf of Mexico northward, and this is the moisture that's going to feed this broad system. And we're going to talk about the risk of flooding throughout the area. And as we go up higher in the atmosphere, we're continuing to see this pattern with a broad southwestern pattern of Gulf moisture spreading northward into the Ohio Valley and into the east. And this is what's really going to keep the atmosphere juiced up and loaded with water to bring into the eastern U.S. And as we go up to the highest level, this is the steering flow. The 500 millibars is the level that we use to show steering. And as we can see in the eastern part, we have this broad trough that goes down the Mississippi Valley, and we still continuing to see this southwestern pattern of winds bringing in the moisture, especially into the southeast and into New England and the Ohio Valley, and so. This information is fed into a lot of weather models. Those weather models are used to produce forecasts. those forecasts do appear on the Weather and Radar application, but one of the other things that us meteorologists like to do, we also like to look at the raw data from the models to get an idea of what the weather is doing across the eastern U.S. And this is the setup that we are really concerned about with the heavy rains here. In the southeast, it's all this orange and red and yellow areas are where heavy rain is expected as that cold front that we analyze going through the southeast. That's going to tap that Gulf moisture and bring heavy rains and severe thunderstorms. And then as we see, the low over Ohio Valley is also tapping into that moisture. And as we move this along over the next next 12 to 24 hours, that low pressure system is going to go through the the Midwest, the upper Ohio Valley into Pennsylvania. And we're going to see, what we're seeing is a lot of tightening isobars. Those are the lines that are to the southwest of that low pressure area, and those tightening isobars is indication of the strength of the system, and also the fact that it's going to produce a large amount of high winds in this area. And so therefore, that's another concern as we go into Friday, is that the fact that as this system continues to get stronger and stronger and stronger as it moves into the Great Lakes, it's going to sweep large amounts of high winds through Michigan, through the Great Lakes, and into the Northeast. And so we're going to see a double whammy of heavy rain and high winds through the Northeast, bringing the chances of power outages, flash flooding, and all that, flash flooding, and also severe weather also occurring. And so one of the biggest concerns is the rainfall, and this is the estimation of how much rainfall is going to fall over the next 3 days in those areas. And as we can see from those colors with those purples, and it's going from blues to purples, and even a little bit of the oranges, we're talking about at least 1 to 2, 3, 4 inches of rainfall falling in a broad area from the Great Lakes throughout the Appalachians into the Northeast. This rainfall is falling over very saturated ground. We're also seeing that also in the southeast due to the cold front bringing severe weather. What that means is that with the rain falling over saturated grounds, they're increasing the chances of seeing flash flooding, especially in a lot of the urban areas. In the Northeast is very highly populated. The urban areas of Pittsburgh and New York City and Boston and Philadelphia, the whole I-95 corridor could see, as this heavy rain, could see some localized flash flooding, especially in low-lying areas and poor drainage areas. And so that's one of the things that we are definitely concerned about over the next several days with this forecast. And in fact, this is our most recent excessive rain forecast for today, showing that we have a slight risk throughout the Jacksonville area into northern Florida, as well as across the central Appalachians from northwestern North Carolina and northward through western Virginia and West Virginia into Pennsylvania and northeastern Pennsylvania into even the Hudson Valley. And we're expecting to see a similar situation set up tomorrow with additional excessive rain potential. And of course, one of the other things that we're also worried about, especially with that low pressure area going through the Pittsburgh area and that cold front moving through northern Florida, is the risk of thunderstorms. And these thunderstorms could produce a lot of damaging winds and also hail. And there is a small chance of some tornadoes spinning up, especially in the areas of the Ohio Valley, of southeastern Ohio into western Pennsylvania, where closer to that low pressure area. When thunderstorms develop in that particular area, there's enough rotation as we go higher up in the atmosphere to produce a tornado develop in those areas. And so that's one of the things that we will be keeping an eye out throughout this afternoon into this evening with this forecast. And then finally, this was through this evening, there is a tornado watch through northern Florida because of that line of storms that are going through. We're going to actually take a closer look at those lines of storms as we get a little bit further along. And one of the nice products that we have is this is our weather radar system, and you can get this on our website, weatherandradar.com, and it loads in very quickly. And this is the most current weather forecast. And what we see here is the little dots are the lightning potential, the lightning that is occurring across from Tampa all the way into Jacksonville. There's going to be a lot of storms that will be rolling through those areas over the next several hours, and that's due to that very strong, very strong cold front that is going through here. And then also, as we go further, as we zoom out and go into the northeast, we can kind of see the low pressure system that is occurring over the. Go ahead and pull up some of our tools here. You know, we have a low here, and this is the system that's going to go up into the northeast, and what's going to occur is that all this rain in this area is going to wrap around it, and it's going to bring a lot of rain into this area as we go into the rest of today and tomorrow. So as we look into tomorrow, we can go in and see what is going on. See the rainfall go through Florida down here, and then also see the heavier rain come in through here. Let me go ahead and erase this here real quick. And so what we will see as we continue on forward is the heavier rain come through here across the I-95 corridor into the Central Appalachians later today and into tonight. One of the other great things that features that we have on this map, and you can also get this on Weather and Radar, is the wind. And this is one of the, as we were talking about with the forecast, we're going to see a large amount of wind produced with the system. And as we can see, we're seeing wind speeds that are in the 50 knots per hour, so that's about 50 miles an hour, occur across many parts of the eastern U.S. And as we progress a little bit further, we're going to see that's going to continue to become very strong and windy through the rest of the. Waiting for my computer to keep up. And so therefore, we're continuing to see, it looks like we're having a little bit of difficulties, but the key here is that we're going to see a large amounts of wind across the eastern U.S., across many parts of the eastern U.S. into the northeast later tonight and into tomorrow. It's important to be aware of this if you're driving, and also be aware that there is a chance that there could be some localized power outages. So make sure, one of the things to always make sure that you have several ways to be alerted, and be sure to check out Weather and Radar. Weather and Radar throughout the next several days to make sure that you get all the latest forecasts. I'm going to go ahead and I leave this open for about 2 minutes to see if there are any questions about the forecast. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the stream.